Kahalo Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of room well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. I ain't gonna say back at you with another quick one because you never know. But I just wanted to kind of expound on something very briefly. I did a couple of videos where I always refer to Maccabees, the first chapter. And if you have not read through this entire book, first and second, and I do believe that there's a third, fourth, and fifth book, you can find that if you just Google it, and there's PDFs of it. But for the sake of time and for the sake of brevity and for the sake of just keeping things simple for understanding and edification's sake, we're going to stick to Maccabees, the first chapter. And a lot of things that we like to harp on is Alexander I being an Edomite, because his father Philip the Macedonian was an Edomite, who came out of the land of Chittim and had smitten Darius the king of the Persians and the Medes. And of course you can go through Daniel 7, and it gives the visions of the four beasts, right? So Daniel is discerning or telling Belshazzar his dream through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, so the first was like a lion, and you got the Syro-Babylonian Empire, then the second beast, and then you have the third like a leopard, and that is going to be your Greeks, faced with the like a leopard, that's for Alexander the Great, and then that fourth beast is the Roman Empire, which you have now today is Rome 2.0, because when you go to the book of Revelation, it talks about whose deadly wound was healed. That beast whose deadly wound was healed, deadly. (13). So yeah, when you go here, and I saw 13:3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. That deadly wound is now Babylon the Great, which you know now as America, where most of us who happen to be looking reside. And the world wonders after her. If you want to get this word wondered, because you stand in awe, or you bow to the philosophies, you are accepting of things of Babylon the Great. So your birthday celebration, Christmas celebration, Thanksgiving celebration, all of these pagan holidays that have origins of heathenistic culture, that is something that you are fully invested in.
Strong's G 2296, Thalmadzo.
Not only are you fully invested, you believe in the political system. You believe that Babylon, excuse me, you believe that Babylon can take balm for her pain and be healed. But it's CTD, as Elder Malcolm would say. This place is circling the drain, and it's only a matter of time. And through faith, we believe that we will be kept throughout Jacob's trouble, throughout the fall of this kingdom, where Esau's the end and Jacob is the beginning. We'll also grab that as well. Oh, dang it. That's not what I meant to do. That's what I wanted. So let's see, wondered. We'll get this to the origin, the root word. To wonder at, marvel, had an admiration, and also other nations mimic us. That's why, or not us, they mimic them. That's why you can see a McDonald's everywhere, or you'll see the people have adopted this Western garb and oh, excuse me, and I feel like I had to sneeze. And way of dress and mindset, this polluting, this awful mindset that rots people from the inside out. So yeah, you can see to wonder. Alright, so let's go back. Okay, and it made many wars, won many strongholds, which we've gotten most of that. And the point I also wanted to make, because the reason for this video, even in the first place, was since this place is circling the drain and it's winding down, Christians are going to harp even more on salvation for all, because they're scared. They're terrified. They've been living in folly. They've been living and believing a lie, and they want this thing that we are preaching and teaching to be fake. They want it to be false so bad, because if it ain't, which it isn't, but if it ain't, It's over. And they try to push this salvation for all, but that you can go to Elder Malcolm's videos, GMS Maccabean Spirit. Well, boom, there you go. Here's a video. I forgot that I was looking at this, so go ahead and type that in. Remnant Save 144, Elder Yashua Wamba of the Dallas camp. Salvation according to Christianity is false. What is salvation? And I mean, in a short version, which you need to go and look at this video, please go watch it and take notes. But in short, salvation is the kingdom of Israel up under Yahweh, Yahushai, and King David, and then the 144,000. It is a ruling class, a government, a highly functioning business with the heathen at our at our feet. And that is why when you see, let's get Amos 9. Look at that. All right, so then this is talking about in this end times where, Esau is the end and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. And those breaches go into the separation of the northern and the southern kingdom, which will be referred to if once you read through this Old Testament, Israel being the northern and then Judea being the southern kingdom. So those breaches will be closed because we were united under David and under Solomon, who forwarded it for 40 years. However, when Solomon fell, the kingdom split. So the breaches will be closed up in the end, and it will be as in the days of old. And you can read through the book of Kings about how he put garrisons in Edom and made Moab his washpot. Right, like the other nations were paying tribute, they were in subjection. And look at that very next thing, the very next verse, and that is a pattern that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this. So if everybody can save, who's going to be, and if people are going to be in hell, who's going to be getting possessed, right? So none of that Christian doctrine doesn't make sense. And if you have the ears to hear, you will see, and you'll come out of that, and prayerfully through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you will repent. Because if not, and you're on the other side, and you're hoping that this thing is fake and that it is false and that Christianity is the way, which it is not, when time comes for that you're going to be wanting protection, protection will flee you. Mercy will flee you. Anything, any hope of survival, it will flee you. Because you refused the ear. You are like the deaf adder. Alright, and then the point I also wanted to get was how we lost our heritage in the first place. So let's we'll go to 10 because he's a bastard. So, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus or Antiochus, however you want to say it, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome and had reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. So remember, Alexander was first in his stead. So they came, they stole land. The brown-skinned Etruscans, who are today the Polynesians or your, Japhetic people, this was that was their land, but it was taken over because that is what Esau Edom does over and over and over. They take a land that doesn't belong to them, and then they call themselves by that land, by that name. Let's see. So here's the start of it, right? So if you want points to look into, you need to look into Antiochus, Antiochus, however you want to say it. Let's see. And in those days there went out of Israel wicked men, okay? And they say, let us make a covenant with the heathen at around about us. And you'll see that even today, which I've gone into before in many other videos. Even today, you have them that want to cleave unto the heathen. A good example are black Christians. Bald head, bald face, or lined up head, lined up beard Christians who want to save and want to, under that Calvin spirit from that movie Django. They want to save their daddy. Alright. Went forward. Okay. Let's see. Who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen? But the Lord told us to be separate. Right? 7. Or is it 6 and 7? It's either 6 and 7 or 7 and 6. But the Lord gave us a very strict commandment to be separate. For thou art an holy people, Deuteronomy 7:6, unto the Lord thy God, that the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people upon the face of the earth. And then you have Jeremiah 10. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of their coming. You can even go into what is it, Exodus? The vain practice of the heathen. I won't be able to find it off the top of my head, but if you go through Exodus, when we're coming into the promised land, the land of Canaan that the Lord gave us, he kicked them out because of their wicked abominations. So we were us keeping that land was predicated on keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and not doing as the heathen do. So off rip, here's the beginning of us and our ancestors, who we are our ancestors, losing our heritage. They made themselves uncircumcised, and that's verse 15. And that goes into basically just acting like the heathen, doing. It says it right here, and forsook the holy covenant. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that they sewed their foreskin back on, which I wouldn't put it past Jake, but this is mainly talking about in the spirit. And then that's when you move into the New Testament, and it talks about Paul talks about being circumcised of the heart, and the heart meaning the mind, or la'ab, because you come back and you've accepted, and you pushed off the heathenistic custom and culture, and coming back into the fold. And there you also have the description of when it says the circumcised and the uncircumcised, because the circumcised was also the physically circumcised, but also those who knew they were Israelites because they grew up in the customs. But here's the start of those who didn't grow up in the customs, and that is why Paul and the apostles, and they all went around old Greece and Rome and preached, and to preach to all nations, because we were scattered through the four corners of the earth. Why? For disobedience. So without the Apocrypha, there's no way to explain that the book, the verse in Galatians where it says neither Greek nor Jew. That's why it specifically says that. Otherwise, why wouldn't it say there's no Hamite or Jew, or there's no Moabite, And Christians fail to understand that. They fail to see it. Okay, so when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he reigned over Egypt, that he might have dominion of 2 realms, because they fought. Ptolemy and Antiochus, or Antiochus, they fought. You should also look that secular history up. Ptolemy ended up giving up that land eventually, and let's see. Wherefore he entered into Egypt. He made war. Okay, boom, right here. Yeah, he war against Ptolemy. Ptolemy was afraid and fled, but that's not what we want. We just want to get some key scriptures here that you can have something to chew on, right? I didn't want to do anything too into detail because I don't have all the articles, but I just wanted to give you something to chew on, something to read, some secular history to go into, so that you may further be edified and continue to feed yourself as well. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, at 20. Okay, so after Antiochus had smitten Egypt, because he was studying, he has a true Edomite fashion. He was proud and war ready and ready to go in. So, all right, so he returned again to the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took the golden altar and the candlesticks of light and all the vessels thereof. So he pretty much ransacked the temple, and the importance of the temple was the mediator. Through that is how. So you had the temple, and then you had the inner room, and then an inner room, and the Levites were responsible for that, because with them they were our mediators because Moses was a Levite, Aaron was set up in the beginning, and his descendants. So without that temple, we had no connection with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, or with at that time Yahweh. We had no connection because you needed the temple. And these heathen knew that, so they knew if they sacked the temple or they destroyed it, they destroyed our connection with the Lord. But now we have Yahweh Shai, who's made that connection within the body, and they want in. That is the purpose of the CHIP. They want in. They want to destroy the temple yet again. This time the temple's not without, it is within. So it is imperative that you understand that going into the times that we're going into. All right, table of the showbread. Okay, he took everything out of it, and I believe they also sacrificed swine's flesh in the temple. All right, having made a great massacre, and spoke very proudly, of course, in true Edomite fashion. So there's a great mourning in evil. There's a great mourning in Israel, and in every place where they were. All right. 2 years full expired, the king sent chief collector tribute on the city of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. And of course, though he go crouching like a lion, never trust thine enemy. That's Ecclesiasticus 12:10. He spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. There you go again. And they will keep doing it because they are them today. So you never ever trust anything that this devil says or offers you. It only leads to your demise. All right, set the city on fire. Took the women and children captive. Let's see. Let's scroll down just a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going down to the part. So he wrote to the kingdom that all should be one people. Okay, and we're going to be doing that again. They're going to be us. They're going to want us to be one people again, right? The book of Ecclesiastes tells you there's nothing new under the sun. He's been trying to make his own left-handed blessing since. He wants his own immortality because he gave up that birthright in the book of Genesis. Everyone should leave his law, and you know who they really wanted. All right, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. All right, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, which you will see our people do in this day. What, you ain't got no sage LP? Come on, man, you bullshit. Look, I can do my car, I can do my taxes, I can do this, I can do that. They send me, I can't go nowhere without it. I gotta get it, I gotta have it. You're gonna see it. And sacrificed unto idols. And these are the things, and profaned the Sabbath. And doesn't the Lord say that he that profaneth the Sabbath or miss any of the feast days, right? There are 3 feast days where you're supposed to return unto Jerusalem. If you don't, you are cut off from being a nation. And that leads into the prophecy of the Lord provoking Israel with those who are not a nation because they were cut off. This is the beginning of being cut off from being a nation because we profaned the Sabbath. We did not return to Jerusalem. We didn't do the things that we were supposed to do to remain being a nation, to remain being a part of the fold. So you are still an Israelite by blood. But if you're cast off and then you have children and your children have children and your children have children and they're raised among these filthy heathen, they are going to be filthy heathen as well. The uncircumcised of the heart and also the physically uncircumcised. So that's what that goes into. You cannot understand anything in the New Testament without reading through the book of Maccabees. So if you have not read through it, continue to do so, and it will tell you how they were no longer allowed to call themselves Jews. They were no longer to do anything pertaining to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and following the way of Yahweh. So please, if you have not read through this, please do. Read through this, type in GMS, whatever you're going to type in. And I'll also do my best to remember to link this in the description box. Matter of fact, let's copy. And I'll put that, so watch this video as well. So that way you can further be edified. So with that being said, Shalom.